Now, Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries has said that people have become afraid to say what they think for fear of being cancelled, and that left-wing activists have hijacked social media. Now, this left-wing activism is sort of like a moral high ground ideology. Followers of it basically paint a picture around the outline as something that you have or haven't said, and then they elaborate on it, even though the picture that they eventually paint in the end bears no true resemblance to the original outline. They're out for your blood. So ultimately, there's no point in you trying to improve things, because whatever you do or say will be deliberately distorted and then turned into a witch hunt. And examples of this treatment include Professor Kathleen Stock, who made a perfectly valid statement about the importance of biological sex, but her words were distorted to imply that her comments were transphobic and she had to leave her job. The Labour MP Rosie Duffield and billionaire author J.K. Rowling receiving similar treatment, the latter not being invited to a 20-year anniversary event for the Harry Potter films, the very things that made those who are shunning her millionaires. They even tried to have a go at the comedian Dave Chappelle, but on this occasion they'd bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. The justification for these bullies' behaviour? Believing that they hold the moral high ground. So basically, anything goes. But even more sinister than this, though, your social media can be weaponised against you decades later. Let's take the case of Azim Rafiq. He accused the cricketing body where he played of institutionalised racism, which he endured between 2008 and 2018. His experience really tugged at the heartstrings, and I, for one, I know all about that. I was born in the very early part, I know, I don't look that old, of the 70s. I think my family, along with Uncle Tutu, were basically the only black people in Newcastle, where I was born. And most people were wonderful to me and my family, and I was even fostered by a white family for a short period of time. I love Newcastle. The people there are canny. But yes, I've endured racism, which means I go out of my way to ensure I don't inflict this on others. In Mr. Rafiq's case, it now transpired he himself had made anti-Semitic comments on his own social media platform over a decade ago. Now, you can't use historic evidence to convict someone else and then not expect others to attempt to persecute you via the same process. And now text messages are coming out where he allegedly sent some saucy messages to a 16-year-old who apparently claimed she was 17 when he was, I think it was 21. Not that there's anything particularly illegal about that incident, but it did get me thinking. With all of this social media, who sets the parameters and how far back do we go? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.